Few Hollywood love stories have ever captured the world's attention quite like the one between Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry. It all began not with fame, not with fortune, but with a simple, mischievous act. A stolen bite of a burger that would set into motion one of the most talked about romances in modern Hollywood. Behind the flashes of cameras, beneath the glamour and the red carpets, there was something far more real. Two people searching for connection in a world that rarely allows privacy and almost never forgives imperfection. Their journey would span nearly a decade, full of laughter, passion, heartbreak, and rebirth. And now, 8 years after their separation, Orlando Bloom finally breaks his silence. What he reveals isn't just about lost love, but about growth, resilience, and the rediscovery of self beyond the spotlight. This is not just a story of a breakup. It's a story of two souls who dared to love deeply and to part gracefully. As the lights fade and the cameras turn away, what remains of Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry's love story isn't a scandal. It's serenity. It's the quiet acknowledgement that even in the dazzling chaos of Hollywood, some stories don't need drama to be remembered, only truth. From a stolen bite of a burger to a shared daughter and a lifetime of lessons, their journey was never just about romance. It was about becoming. Two artists, two dreamers, two imperfect people learning to love, lose, and grow beneath the constant hum of fame. Orlando's reflection reminds us that love is not a fixed moment. It's a living thing, one that evolves even after goodbye. And Katy's resilience teaches that heartbreak doesn't define us. It refines us, shaping the music we make, the choices we live by, and the peace we find within ourselves. Their story, in the end, is not about the breakup. It's about what came after. Grace, growth, and gratitude. For those watching from afar, their journey offers a rare and comforting truth, that love doesn't have to end in bitterness to be real, that even when the romance fades, respect can remain, and that sometimes letting go is the purest form of holding on. 8 years after their separation, Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry still remind the world that love, in all its fragile, evolving forms, is never truly lost. It simply changes shape, becoming something quieter, wiser, and perhaps even more beautiful. This was not a story of heartbreak. It was a story of transformation, of love that lived, grew, and endured beyond the spotlight. Because sometimes the most powerful endings are the ones whispered, not shouted. 8 years after breakup, Orlando Bloom breaks his silence on Katy Perry. A story of love, growth, and the kind of grace only time can teach. The story of Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry began in the most unexpected and charming way imaginable. It was January 2016, just after the Golden Globes. Amid the glittering crowd of Hollywood elites, destiny took the shape of something as ordinary as a burger. At an In-N-Out burger stand, Orlando casually leaned over and stole a bite from Katy's meal. She later laughed while recalling the moment, saying, "Wait, who are you? Oh, you're so hot. Fine, take it." That tiny, playful moment, fleeting and silly, lit the spark that would grow into one of the most publicized romances of the decade. Sometimes the greatest stories don't start with grand gestures. They begin with laughter, spontaneity, and a shared sense of curiosity. Their next meeting came shortly after that night at an after-party following the Golden Globes. Katy, never one to shy away from a bold move, approached Orlando with a joke about how the onions from his burger were still haunting him. He laughed. She smiled. What followed was a night of playful banter, laughter, and, according to reports, an impromptu dance-off that left everyone talking. No one remembers who won that dance battle, but everyone agreed on one thing. Their chemistry was electric, instant, undeniable. Katy would later admit that Orlando wasn't particularly familiar with her music at first. Their worlds, film and pop, were different. Their ages slightly apart, yet none of that mattered. Within weeks, they found themselves spending more and more time together, merging lives that had once existed in separate galaxies. Orlando soon introduced Katy to his closest circle, including his young son, Flynn, from his previous marriage to model Miranda Kerr. That single gesture spoke volumes. It wasn't just another Hollywood fling, it was real, serious, and heartfelt. And though the public was hungry for more glimpses of their romance, the couple took a different path, one built on privacy, intention, and respect for what they were creating together. In the earliest days of their romance, Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry made a deliberate choice to protect what was real between them from a world that feeds on illusion. Even as their names dominated headlines, the two quietly built their connection behind the scenes. They avoided flashy displays of affection, refused to walk red carpets hand in hand, and sometimes even sat at separate tables during public events. At a film festival in France, fans noticed how they kept their distance in public, yet shared soft glances and whispered exchanges when cameras turned away. Behind the polished smiles was something genuine, two people trying to nurture love without letting fame devour it. Their privacy wasn't secrecy, it was self-preservation. They both understood that under the glare of constant scrutiny, even the strongest relationships can wither. So they built a foundation away from noise, allowing their bond to grow naturally, away from judgment and speculation. The world caught its first official glimpse of their relationship through a witty Instagram post captioned, "We can't." That two-word tease broke the internet, a playful yet intimate confirmation that love had truly blossomed. Fans adored the balance of humor and affection that defined them. They weren't trying to be a power couple. They were just two people having fun in love. As months passed, their romance deepened. They vacationed together, shared creative adventures, and occasionally gave the public glimpses of their joyful connection. Then came that unforgettable moment, Orlando paddleboarding nude off the coast of Italy. The photos went viral in minutes, but instead of embarrassment, the couple responded with humor. Katy joked that she had saved him from joining her in the nude, saying that moment was better saved for the boat. It was lighthearted, human, and endearing, proof that despite fame, they could laugh at themselves and each other. Even their Halloween costume showed that same playful spirit. In 2016, they dressed as Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, complete with prosthetics and full makeup. Rather than using their platform for gossip, they used it for humor and creativity, two souls unafraid to make fun of the world and themselves. And later that year, when they appeared as Mr. and Mrs. Claus at a children's hospital, bringing laughter to sick kids, they revealed something much deeper. Behind all the celebrity, these were two people with hearts full of kindness. Their relationship seemed filled with love, laughter, and purpose, which is why, when the news of their split broke in early 2017, fans were stunned. How could a couple so perfectly matched, so full of life, suddenly drift apart? After their brief separation, Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry found their way back to each other, this time a stronger, wiser, and more certain of what they wanted. Their rekindled love soon blossomed into something deeper, culminating in one of the most romantic proposals Hollywood had seen in years. It was Valentine's Day, 2019. Orlando had planned every detail from a helicopter ride to the rooftop celebration where their family and closest friends were waiting. Under a sky painted with stars and candlelight, he asked the question that changed everything. Katy later described the proposal as magical, saying she could feel the love and intention in every moment. He had even sought her parents' blessing beforehand, a rare gesture of sincerity that spoke volumes about his devotion. The engagement marked not just a public commitment, but a personal triumph. Two hearts choosing to love again after distance, doubt, and difficulty. Soon after, Orlando sold his home and moved in with Katy. Their blended family, including Orlando's son Flynn from his previous marriage to Miranda Kerr, flourished beautifully. Miranda, in an act of grace, fully supported her son spending time with Katy, showing that respect and maturity could exist even in the most unconventional family settings. But even as their love grew stronger, life didn't pause to make things easier. Their careers were relentless. Two global stars with demanding schedules that often pulled them to opposite ends of the world. Orlando once admitted that maintaining a relationship under such circumstances meant doing the groundwork, building trust, creating safety, and staying emotionally connected even when miles apart. Katy echoed that sentiment, describing their bond as a never-ending cleanse, a process of growth and healing that required constant effort. By early 2020, their next chapter was set, a wedding in Japan surrounded by 150 guests, a symbol of love, peace, and unity. But fate had other plans. As the world shut down due to the global pandemic, their dream ceremony had to be postponed. Still, Katy's spirit remained unbroken. She even shared how excited she was at the thought of walking down the aisle while pregnant, a once-in-a-lifetime moment that blended love, new life, and hope in one perfect image. The world may have paused, but their love didn't. Instead, they turned inward, embracing stillness, nurturing their home, and preparing for the most profound transformation of all, becoming parents. When Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom announced they were expecting their first child together in March of 2020, it felt like the dawn of a new era in their love story. But in true Katy fashion, the reveal wasn't ordinary. It came through art. In her emotional music video for Never Worn White, the final scene showed her cradling her baby bump, eyes glowing with joy. Fans around the world erupted in celebration. The pop icon and the Hollywood star were about to embark on life's most sacred journey, parenthood. Soon after, during an Instagram Live, Katy confessed that it had been one of the longest secrets she'd ever kept. Her excitement was infectious, her smile radiant. Even amid the uncertainty of the global pandemic, the couple looked forward to building their family with hope and tenderness. That same year, in a light-hearted Instagram post, they revealed the baby's gender. Orlando's face, smeared with pink icing, was captioned, "It's a girl." The world laughed with them, a moment of happiness in a time of chaos. In August 2020, their daughter, Daisy Dove Bloom, arrived, her birth announced through UNICEF, where both serve as goodwill ambassadors. Their message wasn't a glamorous press release, but a heartfelt declaration of gratitude and compassion. They shared their joy while encouraging fans to donate to maternal health causes. A beautiful reminder that love, at its core, gives back. Orlando proudly called Daisy his mini-me, and their home soon filled with laughter, lullabies, and the rhythm of a family learning to grow together. Parenthood transformed them both. It softened their edges, grounded their hearts, and deepened their respect for one another. As co-parents, they balanced sleepless nights with global commitments, film shoots, music tours, and humanitarian work, yet always found their way back to the same center, their daughter. Orlando's experience raising his son, Flynn, helped him bring the stability and warmth into this new chapter. He knew the importance of a structure, patience, and mutual respect, lessons that guided their family through the whirlwind of fame and responsibility. But even amid this happiness, real life, and all its complexities, found a way to creep in. Distance, pressure, and the constant demands of their careers began to test what they had built. Because love, even the strongest kind, needs time, space, and rest. And in the world they lived in, those were luxuries neither could always afford. Behind the radiant smiles, heartfelt interviews, and picture-perfect moments, signs of a strain quietly began to surface between Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry. Their love, once a symbol of balance and laughter, was being quietly tested by the very forces that had once brought them together: ambition, distance, and the constant glare of fame. Sources close to the couple later revealed that tension had been brewing for months. The pressures of parenting during a pandemic, while simultaneously maintaining two demanding global careers, created emotional distance that neither could fully escape. Katy's 2020 album, Smile, while filled with optimism, failed to reach the success she had hoped for. The public saw her resilience, but behind the scenes, she felt the sting of disappointment. The stress of trying to meet personal and professional expectations began to wear on her. Orlando, ever the supportive partner, tried to be her anchor, but even the most patient hearts can feel the strain when life offers no pause. Their schedules often kept them apart. Tours, film sets, and obligations stretching across continents. Orlando spoke candidly in interviews about how long-distance relationships require groundwork, trust, communication, and emotional safety. The unseen pillars of love must be built and rebuilt again and again. But no matter how strong the foundation, cracks appeared. Rumors began to swirl when Orlando attended Jeff Bezos's star-studded wedding alone. Paparazzi photos showed him dancing, smiling, radiating a newfound lightness. And the tabloids spun their stories fast. Was Orlando single again? Had Hollywood's golden couple quietly gone their separate ways? And yet, just days before that, the pair had been seen together at one of Katy's concerts, cheering for their daughter from the front row, a quiet, tender reminder that family always came first. Insiders described their eventual split as amicable. There was no scandal, no bitterness, no public fallout, just two people who had loved deeply and had grown in different directions. Katy, in her usual grace, once said, "It's possible to remain friends, to still love someone, even after love changes its form." Their decision to live apart, especially once Katy's Lifetime tour began, was not made in anger, but in understanding. It was the acknowledgement that sometimes love is not about holding tighter, but about letting go gently. Behind the scenes, Orlando and Katy focused on their daughter, Daisy. ensuring her life remained filled with joy, music, and warmth. Even in heartbreak, they led with compassion, something rare even outside Hollywood. After nearly a decade of love, laughter, and shared dreams, the world was stunned when news broke that Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry had quietly gone their separate ways. But unlike the usual Hollywood tales of betrayal or bitterness, theirs unfolded differently, with maturity, respect, and remarkable grace. Sources close to the couple revealed that the breakup hadn't been sudden. It was a gentle, gradual unraveling, months of quiet reflection, where both realized that the life they had built together was beginning to pull them in different directions. Katy, ever the artist, channeled her pain into her music. She threw herself into her lifetime tour, performing for 75 nights across the globe, a creative escape, a way to heal by singing her truth. Meanwhile, their once shared Montecito estate, once envisioned as a forever home, was quietly rented out, a subtle signal that the chapter was closing. Still, their separation was far from hostile. Friends described it as loving as space. No harsh words, no broken promises, just two souls choosing peace over chaos. Rumors intensified when Orlando attended Jeff Bezos' wedding alone, dancing freely, laughing with friends, glowing with the kind of energy that made headlines. The tabloids claimed he was ready to party like a single man, but those close to him insisted the truth was more complex. Days before that event, Orlando had been spotted holding Daisy in his arms, cheering proudly as Katy performed on a stage. Despite their changed relationship, they still functioned as a family, a testament to the love that had evolved, not disappeared. Katy herself later spoke publicly about the breakup, her voice calm and reflective. Sometimes love transforms. You can still care deeply for someone, even if your paths no longer align. The representatives released a statement confirming that the pair were taking respectful, loving space. And for once, the press couldn't twist it into drama. Because their actions matched their words, they truly had chosen kindness. In the months that followed, both focused on healing and co-parenting. Katy embraced her new independence with grace, while Orlando poured himself into fatherhood and creative work. They remained supportive, respectful, and connected, united by one shared, unbreakable bond, their daughter, Daisy Dove. Their story, unlike so many Hollywood endings, wasn't about destruction. It was about transformation. It showed the world that even when love changes shape, it can still leave behind beauty, gratitude, and peace. For years, Orlando Bloom remained quiet about his relationship with Katy Perry, never offering more than a few respectful words when asked. But recently, after 8 years of silence, he finally chose to speak. And when he did, his tone wasn't bitter or nostalgic, it was profoundly human. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Orlando opened up about what their relationship truly meant to him. He didn't dwell on what went wrong. Instead, he spoke about what they learned. He described their time together as a journey, not just of love, but of transformation. He talked about how they both grew, how they faced their flaws, and how their connection challenged them to evolve. To Orlando, their relationship was a never-ending cleanse, a phrase he used to describe the emotional and the spiritual depth that defined their bond. He spoke with humility, acknowledging the pressures of fame, the chaos of long-distance love, and the struggle of keeping something sacred in a world that constantly demands exposure. But beneath it all, there was no resentment, only understanding. Orlando reflected on how much respect he still had for Katy, both as a partner and as the mother of his child. He said that some loves don't end, they simply change form. His voice, steady and sincere, revealed a man at peace with his past. He didn't reveal intimate details, nor did he seek sympathy. He spoke like a man who had lived, learned, and loved fully, and had come out wiser for it. What resonated most with fans wasn't what he said, but how he said it. There was gratitude in his tone, not grief, respect, not regret. He praised their ability to co-parent Daisy with warmth and cooperation, calling her his greatest blessing. Fans responded with admiration. After years of gossip and speculation, they finally saw the truth. Two people who had shared something genuine, who had let go without hate, and who continued to honor what they built. In a world that feeds on scandal, Orlando's honesty was refreshing. It reminded everyone that breakups don't always mean failure. Sometimes they mean growth. Two souls who came together, helped each other heal, and then stepped forward separately, yet still side by side in purpose. Through his words, Orlando reminded the world of something rare in celebrity love stories, that endings can be gentle, even beautiful. Since parting ways, Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry have both found peace and purpose in their new chapters. Their lives no longer revolve around one another, yet in a quiet, graceful way, they still remain deeply connected through the one thing that matters most: family. Orlando has embraced fatherhood as the heart of his identity. Between acting, producing, and his ongoing humanitarian work, he finds balance in being present for his daughter, Daisy Dove. He has spoken openly about how becoming a father again transformed him, grounding his spirit, humbling his ego, and teaching him patience in a world that rarely slows down. Katy, on the other hand, has poured her heart into her art. Her latest projects reflect a woman reborn, still vibrant, still powerful, but now tempered by wisdom and gratitude. She often shares glimpses of motherhood and humor on social media, proving that even in the face of heartbreak, joy can bloom again. Both have made co-parenting their priority. They coordinate schedules, share milestones, and maintain constant communication, ensuring Daisy grows up surrounded by love, not tension. Their ability to work together has earned quiet admiration from fans and fellow celebrities alike. In interviews, Katy has reflected on the lessons of her past with grace. She said that heartbreak doesn't break you, it refines you. And Orlando, echoing her sentiment, described their journey as a story of transformation, not tragedy. Individually, they continue to thrive. Katy's music has regained its emotional core, vulnerable, reflective, and deeply human. Orlando has sought roles that challenge him, focusing less on fame and more on meaning. Both have used their platforms to advocate for compassion and mindfulness, turning personal evolution into inspiration for millions. They are no longer lovers, but their story still matters because it shows a rare truth about love, that it can change, evolve, and even end without losing its beauty. Their bond, redefined by time and tenderness, stands as a reminder that love doesn't always fade. Sometimes it simply grows into something new. Today, Orlando and Katy live separate yet intertwined lives, their paths diverging but their hearts aligned in one shared mission: to raise their daughter with kindness, creativity, and understanding. Their journey from playful beginnings to quiet maturity reflects what love can be when handled with grace. No villains, no victims. Just two souls who met, grew, and continued walking, separately, but with the same light that once brought them together. And in that, their story remains one of Hollywood's rarest, not for its drama, but for its dignity.